Hi, all, Gagan this side. Today I will discuss one use case of Lightning Flow. So let's suppose client comes to you and say, "Hey developer, I wanted to create a custom Lightning Flow page, which will help user to create the contact and if the input given by the customer of the contact is already there in the system, it will give us an error and also an option to basically link that existing contact with the account where you have added the lightning flow. So let's suppose that this is the actually that lightning flow which I have created, and let's suppose that I give the first name, email ID and phone number. And if any contact is already there with the first name and email which is given by me, in that case, in the next after clicking the search button, it will give me the result in form of lightning data table or the flow data table. And I will be able to basically link any of the contact which will be there in the contact in the data table. So let's go ahead and take an example. I am giving the name Prince Anand, and the email ID is Arun Prince at the rate gmail.com, and I can take any name. I mean to say phone number 045, and if I search, so you can see it's giving me a prompt that the below contact form with the same details. So the first name and the email ID which I given here is already there in the system. There is a contact with the same first name and the email ID in the system. So if I go ahead, so it is already there. It is a one contact with the same details already in the Salesforce system. So if you want to link this contact with this account, you can simply click this button and you can hit this link the contact. So I'm getting the success message that link the contact successfully. So the contact which was there with the prince and the prince at the gmail.com email ID, we have successfully linked with this account. So let me refresh this record and see if we are able to see that contact in the related record. Yeah. So you can see this Prince Sharma has already now has been linked with this account after giving the information in this lightning flow. And let's take a second example. Let's take account which is let's take a contact which is not there in this page, uh, which is not there in the sales also. So let's take an example, Karthik and Karthik Sharma. So with this name and the email ID I'm giving, there is no contact in this box. So how it will react? Let me search. So at the next page, when I hit the search button, it's not giving any data table or any prompt that this contact is already entered into the Salesforce. So it's just giving me the prompt that this contact has already been successfully created because it was a new contact and it's linked with this account. So let me refresh this one now. So now you can see there are four contact: Prince Anand and the Karthik. Karthik was the new record. It was not there in the Salesforce. So the flow has created a new contact and linked with the account in the page where the customer was giving the input. Okay, so you can see if we check the created date, you can see the created date is 21st 3 12 13, which is the today's time because I'm basically running this org is belongs to some other time zone, so ignore that one, but this is the current time. Ignore this time, make system time. So now I will go to the flow and make you understand how I have meet this requirement of the client. So initially, this is the page. This is the page where we have given this. static text and this image, and there is some element, input element, or you can say some forms are there. So for that we have used the screen element, and inside the screen element we have used this display text element. Okay, you can simply just give the colors and the static text, and we have also used a display image. So from the left side of this element you can just drag the element here, and then you can give the reference of image or the text you wanted to give. And these all are the text element, so you can just drag this one to the this panel, and based on your requirement you can just give the reference of the fields you wanted to take the information of the customers. So this is the screen element. So after the customer has given the input, once the person click the search button, what we do, we basically do the circle. We check whether the is there any contact is there in the Salesforce or not with the input given by the customer. So for that we have to use a SOCL. So for SOCL or to get the records, we basically use a get record element in the flow. So here we use this name and email. We are basically checking if there is any contact with the name and email. We're not checking the phone number. So we are taking this reference from the input, and we are giving this input to this get record, and get record is giving us the result. So now there are two scenarios: whether we are getting any contact in the Salesforce with the same first name and the email ID given by the customer. If yes, then we are giving the prompt that this contact is already there in the system. If you wanted to link with the contact with the account, then hit this button. Okay, and once the person is hitting the button, so once the results are coming, we are basically using the Lightning data table. So if you want to use the data table in the Lightning flow, you have to just use a screen element. Inside the screen element, you can use this component data table. So I just take the data table. I have given the reference here, and the data and the collection which we are showing here, we are taking all those data from this get record. So get record is giving us the collection, and I'm passing those collections to data table, and I have chosen these three fields that I wanted to show. So in the configuration columns, I have given these three fields that I wanted to basically show to the user. So this is it. And once the person hit this button, linked the contact, what is happening in the background? This update record element is running. So update record is nothing but it's like a DML we are doing, right? So after the update has been done, so in update record, it's very simple. We have just given the reference of the account ID of the page where the person is giving the input. So this is the record ID we are passing. So how this record ID is we are passing to this current record ID variable. I will show you that. So if I go here, and if you will see this current record ID, so I create this custom variable, and I'm just marking this checkbox available for input, and the data type is text. And when if I edit this layout, so once you will add your flow to the data table, it will give you an option, okay, if you wanted to add any input or not. So I just put this data table flow here, and I given the name of flow I wanted to add, okay, and you can see the variable. So this variable is available as an input. This variable is available for the input. You can see this checkbox. So to this variable, I'm passing the value of the record ID. So record ID is nothing but is the current record ID. So here, what is the current record ID? So in this page, if I cancel this is the current record ID. So I'm passing the current record ID to this variable, and reference of this variable we have given in the update element. Okay. So this account, so the contact which we are getting existing, the contact which is already there in the org, and the customer has chosen using this data table, uh, so person has choose one contact. Okay, I wanted to link this existing contact with this account. So once he has hit this link contact, we are passing those information to here. Okay, and those we are basically checking whether the ID of contact is there in the data table chosen by the customer, and then we are getting the account ID of the page where we have added this one, this this lightning flow, and then we are doing the DML. After DML is successful, we are showing this success message. And the second scenario is that when we didn't find any existing contact in the Salesforce org, in the Salesforce database, there is no contact with the data given by the customer, first name and email. In that case, we are running this hierarchy, and we have used this create record element. Okay, and this first name, last name, mobile phone, and account ID. All of this information, first name, last name, mobile, this information is from this screen screen element, and this account ID is again from this current record ID variable. This variable, which is coming from the layout where we have given the reference, and once the record has been created, we have used this display text element. So I have used just we have dragged the display here, display text element here, and but this click here is basically a link we have made. So base URL is a variable we have created, and the create contact is the ID of the record, which is coming from this element, create record element. And if you want to do the debugging of this flow, you can just hit this button debug. Okay, and you can pass this record ID, like you wanted to run this this page in the context of some account, right? So I'm just giving the record ID of the account. I'm running this one. So let's give the name. Uh, okay, let me delink first, and then I will show you. So Prince, let me delink this from this account so that you can understand. So let me use this. So account ID, I have to just remove the reference. So Prince should be removed under the related tab of this account. So Prince is not there. Okay. So now if I go to the debug, so this is the debug of this lightning flow. Let me give the same name, Prince. Anand Prince at the rate gmail.com, and phone number, and search. So we have given the input, okay, and it found one contact and it moved to this hierarchy, and then this screen element get render, and in this element we pass the data from this get record element. So get record element found one record, and we are passing that one record data to this data table, and this data table got the details and passing here prints and this one, this email ID. If I wanted to link this contact with the account ID that I have given initially when I was doing the debugging, so I can just do after clicking this one. So once I hit this button, it moved from this element to update record element. Since update record element is not a screen element, so it will not be available, it will not be rendered for the customer, it will run in the background. So in the background, it will update the record, and at the final, once it's successful, it will show this message. So you can see this has been so basically this has executed, this element has been executed in the background, and once it's done, it moved to this success message. So we are here with the success message. So if I go here and if I will refresh this one, so Prince contact should be added in the contact list of this account. So let me refresh. So you can see Prince Sharma has been added. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's it.